Hello, you're watching News Mongolia on MNB World, and I'm your host, Jargalma Tufshinjargal. Our top stories for today. Mongolia boosts green development with a 54.4 million euros agreement. More than 150 mothers are working as a professional team in a virtual environment. Unitel Group highlights the contributions of female historical figures. For the news, stay tuned. Mongolia's Minister of Finance, Jahvlam Bolt, alongside European Union Ambassador Axel Nikes and European Investment Bank's Vice President, Teresa Chervinska, signed a 54.4 million euros agreement for the AMEG and some centers Green and Resilient Regional Development Investment Program. The deal includes a 9.5 million euros investment grant from the European Union.
The funding will be allocated to enhance basic infrastructure in Mongolia's regional cities, focusing on wastewater treatment plants, affordable housing, energy efficiency improvements, and flood protection measures. Additionally, the program aims to promote sustainable private sector investments in agriculture and agribusiness, supporting herder groups in adopting more eco-friendly livestock practices. Minister Jahvlam Bolt highlighted the program's alignment with Mongolia's long-term development goals, emphasizing its positive impact on rural living conditions, urban-rural coordination, and green agricultural business development. The ASDIP initiative is expected to generate over 160,000 direct and indirect jobs, protect 29 million hectares of grassland, and save more than 126 million tons of carbon dioxide emissions over 40 years. In celebration of the 35th anniversary of diplomatic relations between Mongolia and the European Union, Ambassador Axel Nikes acknowledged the European Union's commitment to closer collaboration. The projects involved align with sustainable development priorities, especially in light of Mongolia's challenges, such as the drought, emphasizing the need for climate-resilient initiatives. A separate memorandum of understanding was signed to support the European Union-Mongolia Forestry Partnership. European Investment Bank Vice President Teresa Chervinska noted the importance of the MOU in preserving existing forests, fostering sustainable development, and supporting Mongolia's climate action efforts.
The concept of online assistance and working in a virtual environment originated internationally more than 10 years ago. Subsequently, Mongolian mothers residing and working in the Czech Republic seized this technological opportunity to overcome challenges following the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. Алтан Dolgo, a teacher and educational manager, has resided in the Czech Republic for a decade alongside her husband and 3 children. She oversees the care of her children at home within a virtual environment, collaborating with over 150 expert mothers who operate as a cohesive team. These mothers work across 7 diverse fields, including business planning, foreign relations, translation, digital solutions, media marketing, financial services, and human resources. The region where I live has a time difference of 7 hours with Mongolia. To work online, an individual must have excellent time management. Also, you need to plan your work very well. For example, as soon as I wake up in the next morning, I plan my time by focusing on the fact that I have to complete the work within the Mongolian time zone. Over the last 2 months, the Small to Medium-Sized Business Support Fund has launched financing and loan initiatives tailored for startup businesses in Mongolia. Our company has actively crafted and assisted numerous projects for startup entrepreneurs and individuals seeking to establish a small to medium-sized enterprises. Personally, as I reside and work in the Czech Republic, I delve into the nuances of agriculture, production, and technology in this region to inform the projects I develop, leveraging Mongolia's specific advantages. One such project involves proposing the construction of a drone in Mongolia aimed at safeguarding young children from accidents. She performs multiple roles across different countries. In Chicago, USA, she serves as a training manager at the Mathematical Learning Center. In Mongolia, she works as a customer service manager at Momate VAA LLC. Additionally, she fulfills responsibilities as a researcher and senior specialist in business planning and foreign relations. Moreover, on top of that, she works as an operator at the Ediant Automotive factory in the Czech Republic. Apart from managing these different roles online, she is also committed to providing her children with a basic education in the Czech language. Furthermore, she ensures that her children receive education about the Mongolian language and culture. Among the 172 streets in the capital city of Ulaanbaatar, 62 are named after historical figures, with none commemorating the contributions made by women to nations' development. To address this, Unitel Group has launched an initiative on International Women's Day to propose the naming of the first street after a woman.
Naming a street or square after an individual is seen as a way to honor their memory and express pride in their accomplishments. It sets an example for present and future generations, particularly children and young people. This initiative aims to acknowledge the substantial contributions that women have made to the creation of modern Mongolia. 8 pioneering women, each having made notable contributions to their respective industries, are highlighted in this effort. Among them are Idr, a Mongolian diplomat who led United Nations subcommittees during the 1970s and 1980s, and Timbril, the first Mongolian athlete to achieve world champion status. The Unitel Group encourages public support for this initiative, providing a platform for viewers to endorse the proposals at the unitel.mn/together website. Notably, the Women for Change non-governmental organization supports this cause by actively working to submit a proposal to the capital city's administration.
Thank you for staying with us. Now let's take a look at currency exchange rates provided by Mongol Bank. Next, our program will turn our attention to foreign news, partnered with international news agencies. Disappearance of 43 students in Mexico in 2014 echoes in new protests, killings, and investigations. Student demonstrators broke into the state prosecutor's offices Tuesday in Chilpancingo, the capital of Guerrero State, set off explosives and burned 11 police patrol vehicles. The prosecutor's office said 4 of its employees were injured in the attack on Tuesday.
They were protesting the death of a student last week in what police said was a confrontation with students riding in a stolen car. One of the police officers involved in that shooting has been detained and placed under investigation in the case. Mexico's president described the shooting as an abuse of authority and confirmed that that student hadn't fired any gun. But Andres Lopez Obrador acknowledged Tuesday that the state police officer detained in the case had escaped from state custody before being turned over to federal prosecutors. The president suggested that Guerrero State Police has not properly guarded their colleague, saying arrest protocols had not been followed. 2 detectives looking for 43 students who went missing almost 10 years ago were found unarmed, 2 days after they themselves disappeared in Mexico's Pacific Coast state of Guerrero. Obrador mentioned the disappearances over the weekend at his daily news briefing. The disappearances were the latest sign of what appeared to be a generalized breakdown in law and order in Guerrero State, home to the resort of Acapulco. The state has been dogged for a decade by the case of 43 students from a rural teachers' college in Guerrero who disappeared in 2014 and are believed to have been abducted by local officials and turned over to a drug gang to be killed. Authorities have been able to identify burned bone fragments of only 3 of the 43 missing students.
Could robots replace humans when it comes to working at sea? The latest autonomous and remotely operated machines are in London for an ocean technology convention, but experts say they will create more opportunities than they will take away.
Back and forth across the water, turning and stopping at the mercy of its onboard sensors. This is the Otter, an uncrewed surface vessel from Norwegian company Maritime Robotics. It's demonstrating how it scans the seafloor to collect information that can then be used for environmental mapping and construction projects such as building piers.
So that's a autonomous USV, fully electric USV, using sonar technology, collecting data from the seafloor underwater and stitching that together with GPS mapping so that we can see what the seafloor looks like.
This is the direction in which the marine industry seems to be sailing, and it's not hard to understand why. Robots and autonomous vessels like this one mean companies don't have to send humans in to do the job. The Otter is on show at Oceanology International, a conference for all things ocean tech being held in London. And autonomous vessels are everywhere you turn. Green Sea IQ has been making the machines for 18 years and has seen demand for them accelerate over almost 2 decades. Its Bayonet series of autonomous robots is designed for the choppy conditions of the surf zone, the area of sea close to the shoreline where waves break. So does technology like this mean humans are about to be replaced? Not quite.
The Isaac Asimov concept of robots taking over our jobs and supplanting us in day-to-day activity, it's science fiction. What robots and autonomy gives us is it gives us new jobs to do, new ways of working. Robots aren't going to take our jobs. Robots are creating more jobs, more ways to collect data, more ways to work in the ocean. So robots aren't going to take our jobs. They're just going to give us more ways to understand the ocean and work in the ocean and combat climate change. They're going to give us ways of doing things that we could never do on our own.
In fact, he's confident these machines will mean we get to know the depths of the sea in ways that would be impossible without them. As the size of sensors shrink, so do the sizes of robots. This remotely operated vessel is the size of a small dog. The Chinese company behind it says they envisage it being used alongside divers rather than instead of them.
I would say the divers now, they can do a lot of stuff. They've been doing it for many, many years, right? The robots coming in. So for example, one of our robots, we can attach 20 plus accessories, right? You have a selection of accessories you can choose from. Let's say for scientific research or for environmental, we got water samplers or sensors for that situation. For search and rescues, you can use sonars, imaging sonars to detect bodies. So for various views. I would say not to replace of the diver, but to help the divers down their job more easier, safer, and more efficient.
And the tech is becoming much more affordable, so it's not just the big multinational companies investing in products like this. Oceanology International run until 14th of March.
Well, that's all for today. Thank you for staying with us. We will see you tomorrow with more news and updates. Goodbye.